Hey guys, welcome to WhiskyWise. Me, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 28, where we're going to review the Craigellachie 13-year-old. And I'll hold it up on screen. Hopefully it's not too wobbly, but the Craigellachie 13 is the entry-level whiskey from the Craigellachie distillery, and it's part of Bacardi's Last Great Malts range. So I'll leave that over here. I'm going to ping a little bottle over there so you know exactly how it looks. If you're going shopping and you see this bottle, you'll be like, that's where I saw it from. So, the actual Craigellachie distillery, they actually produce odd-aged bottles, and that's like, they've got the 13, a 17, a 19, a 23-year-old, and a 31. So, quite a few interesting style of bottlings, and they actually are very well known for using the worm tubs in the condensing process. So, it's copper pipes, which are like in a coil shape, surrounded by cold water, and that gives it, as it's condensed, it gives it a much more meatier, sort of richer mouthfeel. So very interesting style to the whiskey. So we're going to get into the assessing of this whiskey. I have let this one settle for around about 10 minutes, and I do recommend that with any Craigellachie. It's one of the things I have noticed with the whole range. So let's get into starting. Now, I want to mention something as well. Craigellachie do have their 31-year-old, which I did mention, which is only available in travel retail. And that one has just picked up an award as being the Whiskey of the Year for Whiskey Magazine 2017. So it's picked up above, I think it was the 25 and above category, which is just phenomenal stuff. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get a review of that one if we are lucky. But let's get into the review of the 13-year-old. So just switch around the numbers. It would be quite cool. So anyway, into the 13-year-old. The assessment on our review style structure. The age of this whiskey is 13 years old. It's got ABV of 46% ABV. It is non-chill filtered. The cask selection, they actually don't specify. So if you do know, and I checked Craigellachie's website, checked Bacardi's, I checked also, I think it was quite a few blogs, and even on shop sites, you know, selling whiskey shops online, and none of them could specify the casks. And it's even on the tin, I couldn't see it at work. So I really don't know the actual casks they use in the whiskey, but let me know if you do know down below in the comment section. The distillery is the Craigellachie Distillery. It's located over here in Speyside in Scotland, and the parent company that does own it are Bacardi. And they own around about 5 distilleries, producing some really interesting styles, and I think I reviewed a couple of their whiskies already. So the actual price point of view, which is the factor which a lot of people put in nowadays, it starts at £46 for the 70cl, and for the 1 litre bottle you're looking at around about £55 to £60, which seems to be in that range where almost every sort of whiskey entry level nowadays is around about £50, which can be seen quite high, but that's what it is currently at this point in time in the market. Now, exclusivity wise, it is not exclusive. It is available globally, and it is also something you can mainly find in whiskey shops, not really in your general supermarket. In terms of colouring, there is no colour added, so this is all natural colour, and I'll just show that up on screen over there. Natural colour and non-chill filtered. Brilliant, thank you Craigellachie. So let's get into the review now itself. We're going to assess the colour, and first thing is off, I'm going to hold that up against the screen. Hopefully it'll autofocus as well there. Maybe hold it in front of myself. Not the best of ideas, but I'd go more towards like a pale gold colour. It's got a little bit of darker hues, which I can just see over there, and even through here. So I'm going to go with a pale gold in colour. So next, let's assess the nose for the whiskey. So into the nose. So straight away off the first nosing, that leaving it to settle for that little period of time has done a wonder for the whiskey. You're not getting the bite of the alcohol burn in the nose, but I am picking up a sort of tropical fruit character of dried mangoes, sort of dried mango sort of insides, and then also a little bit of baked pineapples, sort of stewing in its own sweetness. Right behind that, you're getting a sort of a woody character, and it reminds me of opening a fresh box of matches, where you get that little white pine wood, and then behind that I'm getting a sort of like, I'd say, more towards like a salty character, sort of like salted meat. Actually reminds me of when I'm in Spain, the salted jamon, or ham as you call it. Quite interesting, the style this nose of this whiskey. You can definitely tell the worm tubs have had their influence. And there's a faint wisp in smoke. And I don't think they actually peat this whiskey. It doesn't contain any peat, so yeah, there is a slight wisp in smoke on the end, so definite unique style of whiskey. So that's the nose. I want to next assess the palate for this whiskey. So into the palate. So initial impressions of the first tasting, I'm picking out definitely sort of like a mango inside. It's like you've taken a mango, you've taken a cut out of it, and you're getting the juicy inside, the sweetness. Then straight up after that, you're getting a little salty character. It's like sprinkling sea salt just over the top of it, which is very unusual. Again, a mix of sweet and a bit of sour character on this whiskey. Definitely something very unique, and I'm getting also that faint smoke, and it's not sort of like a barbecue smoke or even like it's more like a grassy smoke right behind there, and it goes right through that sweet character and also that little bit of sour character. So quite chewy as well on the palate. I'm going to have a second sip, see if we can assess it further, but that's my initial impression of the first tasting. So again, off the tasting, I'm picking out again, very, very chewy. It's like malty, you definitely get the barley character where you feel like you're chewing on something. And then it sort of goes into the taste buds, and that's quite distinctive. You get that then the sea salt coming back through, and that soft sort of fruity character note. So not super so much things happening on the palate of this whiskey, but a mixture of that sort of tropical notes and the sort of salty notes with a hint of smoke just behind lasting. So anyway, we're going to next move on to the finish with whatever little bit I have left and very little in here. And we'll assess the finish of the whiskey. So into the finish next. So overall, my comments on the actual finish for this whiskey, it does have what I'd say is like a medium to long finish. Definitely quite chewy on the palate. And definitely get a mixture of those tropical fruit notes playing back. So it's like the nose and the finish have got the same notes. The palate is a little bit different. And then you get a sort of slight dried oaky character which sort of finishes and leaves the palate quite dry. Whereas sort of on the beginning it was sort of juicy. On the finish it goes quite dry and you get that wisp in smoke again. Which is very unusual for a Speyside dram, must say. So anyway, we're going to come to my conclusion and give it the rating, and I've already decided on my rating for this one. Bum, bum, bum. Here we go, we're going to give it an 85 out of 100. And the reason behind that, here's an unusual character to this whiskey. Something a mixture of a little salty character, a little bit of those meaty characters. Tropical fruity notes as well, so a lot going on, a lot of complexity. But in terms of the price point of view, again, it's around about a little bit higher than what I would pay for an entry-level dram, but it does offer up. So that's one thing I find quite unique and distinctive with this dram. Exclusivity-wise, you can get it everywhere. And personally, myself, I picked up the dram from Drinks by the Dram, as I was unsure on buying the bottle. But I'm looking forward to doing the 17 and the 19 because I've heard fantastic things. And 19 is a bottle that I have actually pre-ordered, so you might see the full bottle in the video. Or if I do it next, I might do it next actually. So yeah, we don't know about that one. So, but anyway, in terms of the review on the actual comments on this 13, getting so easily sidetracked. Very unusual Speyside dram. If you're looking for something different or something very unique, give this one a go. It's definitely something I'd say it's unique in its style. Very mixture of the salty character, the tropical fruits, a wisp in smoke, meaty character. It's got something that could hit any sort of palate for, depending on how you like. So give this one a go, give it a try, or maybe even just try the dram like I did from Drinks by the Dram. Definitely something that is quite unusual. So I'm going to leave it with that, 85 out of 100. I'm going to leave another video over here or here. Check out my subscribe button, which should be over there in the top corner. And I believe I'm going to wrap up the video on that note. So if you have enjoyed, by all means, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe down below. Let me know your thoughts if you've tried any other Craigellachie in the comment section. And this has been Jason from WhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video.